It was so great to chat with you today. I really enjoyed these films. I was a big fan of the first one, so I was super excited that a second one was coming out. So, how long have you been hoping to do a sequel? Was that kind of always the plan after you finished the first one?
May have took a year to get the green light, and then we did. There was a change of administration at Sony, which was a bit of a hold-up, and then, of course, the pandemic. But we got there in the end. And yeah, I'd love to do another one and keep doing some more. There's obviously many tales that we can tell of Mike Fallon, the accident man, the escapades that he gets up to. But yeah, you like the film then? Did we do better than the first, or what do you reckon?
I mean, I like them both in different ways. I actually think I like this one better because I like seeing him in like the bodyguard role. I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah,
very
the
funny.
new dynamic. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being an assassin and desperately wanting to kill someone but having to protect them.
Yes,
You think
I
about
mean,
the
that's something
worst.
else I wanted to ask you about. Like, was it fun to switch it up like that?
Yeah, well, that was the idea, to come at it from a different angle. And George, who plays the Dante character, I mean, he was great casting choice. And let me tell you, this guy went from playing that buffoon who shits in a bucket to playing Hamlet on stage at the Globe. So we're talking about a serious actor here, but he's so funny, and he brought so much to that character. But essentially, there's nothing against George. We wanted someone that the audience could just relate with Mike Fallon in just hating this absolute buffoon who's such an idiot. And that was the point. He wants to kill him, yet he has to protect him. A very difficult situation.
Yeah, I love the humor it brought to that as well because I mean there's a dark comedy element to these films and I think that
Yeah.
really aided it. I loved it. Um how oh yeah, and how was working with the Kirby brothers? Because I know that did not work with them on the first film, but they seemed really excited to be a part of the second one.
They were fantastic. I was hoping to get the original director back, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. But then the Kirbys, and I know them from previously, I worked with George because he's a stuntman, and he was Benedict Cumberbatch's stunt double on Doctor Strange. That's how I met George. But anyway, they sent me this short that they'd done of this zombie thing, and it was made so well and shot so brilliantly. And as soon as I knew it wasn't going to work with Jesse, I immediately thought of the Kirbys, because actually that visual style, they have a similar style to somebody like Edgar Wright or Matthew Vaughn, in my opinion, which was always the first sort of idea of that I had of how I wanted Accident Man to look, the movies. So they were perfect. They were English. They know the action. They've got a great visual style. They're good with the comedy side of things as well. We've got the same sort of sense of humor, and they really wanted to go for it more with the comedy this time than we did with the first. And so it was perfect. And it's always a leap of faith, but they were so good, and they did such a great job. And they edited it themselves. And that's the other thing. They understand visual effects as well. They really understand that on a deep level, which I haven't got a clue about. So they're great directors. They're going to go far. And I hope that they can take me with them.
That's amazing. Yeah, I spoke to them the other day and they had said that this was their first feature film and I was like, it's impressive.
Yeah,
It's
no,
really
they're really
great.
good. They've done a load of YouTube stuff, and they get it. They're fantastic and perfect for this sort of film.
Well, I also wanted to ask you, how do you come up with the names and the personalities for all these different hitmen? Because there are so many, and I'm just very curious how you're able to come up with all of these.
Yeah, I forget. I mean, some of them, some of the assassins changed. We always had Poco the Killer Clown, and we went Poco just because, well, it can't be Coco. Let's call him Poco. And Stu Small, the writer, he comes up with a lot of the names. Wong Su Ling. Now that was completely my idea. Originally, we were going to do the film in Thailand, and we had a different name, and then I wanted the character to be from Hong Kong, and I suggested that she should be a descendant of the great Wong Fei Hung, which was played by Jet Li in the Once Upon a Time in China movies. But people know about Wong Fei Hung. If they're into Chinese martial arts films, they know who that is. So she is Wong Su Ling, and she's a descendant of Wong Fei Hung. And Yeah, Silas the San Francisco Strangler. He was something completely different at one point. We changed him. I can't even remember what he used to be. And then Yendi, he was different in some ways. You know, things get changed, and dependent on who's going to play the part, we can sometimes change things. Like Sarah's character, Su Ling, we completely changed her like 2 days before shooting. Completely revamped the character. When we knew that Sarah was going to play her, I had this idea of making her much more mean-spirited, and originally she
Ooh.
was quite cutesy and, hey Mike, how's it going? And it was like, this isn't going to work. We need to go the opposite direction. And so we got Sarah in there, and I had her read both versions of the character. I said that's the one we're going to go with, and I think, yeah, that was a good choice because she's great in the film.
That's so cool. Like a favorite part of mine is always when like the hitmen come up and you see like all these different names. It's just so cool to me. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, well, you're a martial artist yourself. So is there, I mean, do you guys have a stunt coordinator, or do you do a lot of these? Do you come up with a lot of these stunts yourself?
I actually designed the fights on this one more than any other movie I've worked on. Normally, I like to get somebody who's better than me at choreographing fights, like Tim Mann did the first one. And I've worked with some amazing guys throughout my career. Lucky to have them around me. And when I've got somebody that good, you know, I don't need to think about it. I can concentrate on other things. But Tim wasn't available, and we had Andy Long, but he wasn't there for the whole production. And so me, George, we had a guy come in called Dante. We had a stunt double, Sam. Everyone was sort of like throwing stuff into the mix. Even the performers were choreographing things on the spot. You know, I've done so many of these films that yeah, I choreograph more on this than I have done on others, just because I didn't have a choice. it just ended up that way.
Cool. Okay. Well,
I think I did a pretty good job.
I think you did a great job. It's funny
Yeah.
because when I first watched the movies, I didn't know that you were a martial artist, and I was like, "This is really great camera work. If that isn't him,
Oh, yeah.
like,
This is great face replacement. I really can't tell.
yeah, right." Well, I did notice a common theme in both of these movies, and it's that Mike has somebody that he cares about. Like, he's supposed to be this kind of like stone cold hitman, but I mean, he does have someone that he would kind of, do anything for in each movie. Was that, on purpose to kind of show, yeah, he does have this sense of humanity?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to root for a character that doesn't care about anyone and is so selfish and basically will kill anything with a heartbeat as long as you pay him. So you have to find ways of making that character relatable and for the audience to forgive him. Probably less so on the first one. But what we wanted to do with this was make it about friendship and just say, look, even if you're a stone cold killer put on this earth to extinguish lives, we all need friends. We all need mates, don't we? Otherwise, it could be a lonely existence. Even these assassins need friends, because if you haven't got that, what have you got? And that was kind of the theme of this film. And we had a lot of fun with it. And of course, we get to have a fully fledged bromance with Mike Fallon and Finicky Fred. Their relationship in this film, especially for the first half, it's full on bromance. We even had a song written for the movie called Bromance. So,
Oh my gosh, you need to, is that
yeah.
going to get released?
We need to release that. Yeah, we need to release that. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, that I believe is all I had for you. Thanks so much for chatting with me. I'm a huge fan of these films. I hope to see them continued on someday.
Thanks, Rachel. Hopefully it doesn't take 6 years or whatever it was to do number 3. Hopefully we can get it out sooner this time.
Yes, I would love that. Cool. Awesome.
Let's see.
Well, thank you so much. Have a good one.